Hey y'all, this is Ryan Monso, and this is a Talking About Them Cougars podcast from GoCoogs.com. Kellen Sampson will be here. I think Galen Robinson will be here. We'll see how that goes. We're going to give it just a minute, and then we are going to get underway. Brad, that was one game. You lost. You were outplayed. You still had a chance. You still had a couple chances. I think a lot of people have made it a lot bigger than it was. It's still just one game. There's no reason to go crazy. That's one game.
It's really weird. It's the suffering from success syndrome. The program has built itself up to where the expectations seem a little bit crazy, but our fans just aren't used to seeing this team lose. I mean, it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen at home. I mean, usually if you see us lose, it's on TV, and then you just turn it off and it's gone. It was disappointing to see, but it's part of the game. You saw we weren't the only ones, and we weren't the only ones to do it at home. So it happens.
It was a crazy day in the league. But you have to go back to Damian Dunn beating you the last time this team lost. And Damian finished the season at Temple.
Why are you killing me?
Came
Why
here
are you killing me?
for a whole year and is now on to another program. So, I mean, that's how long it's been. The guy went through a couple of different iterations of his career. I guess we've stalled as much as we possibly can just to get some people in here. I thought Galen was coming. That
whole being a pro baller just kind of gets in the way of his
he's
lowly
got a team
YouTube
activity.
media duties.
Yeah, lowly. All right. We're going to start the intro video, and then we're going to bring Kellen on and talk to him about this team's season ending yesterday against Texas Tech, which was, I'm sure, pretty disappointing for him. But, those things happen. So, here we go.
I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right, I just got the countdown from Galen, 3 minutes, so maybe 15 minutes, we'll see him. Joining us is Kellen Sampson, who is old enough to know better, but still young enough to do his camera that way, as all the kids do. Kellen, you lost a game yesterday. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your process after a loss? I know that the coaches don't stay together and watch a ton of film. Do you go home and watch some?
Yeah. Yes. I think
that night.
Yep. I think there's. I've been on staffs at other spots and at times where you watch the game right after win or lose as a staff, and that doesn't go good. It doesn't go good for anybody involved. I think it's important to kind of emotions are so raw and real, and sometimes you need to be able to collect your thoughts, be able to watch the game. But I think it's also important to watch the game and collect your own individual thoughts and then bring them to a group setting and come up with your solutions collaboratively from there. What you don't want to do is copycat syndrome for sure, or you just become absolute prisoners of a moment. You want to be part of what makes a staff great. Hopefully, is that you've got a lot of diverse opinions that see all angles to the situation. And when everybody has a chance to watch them individually, you're able to come to the table the next day with a pretty level head and a fresh mindset. And if somebody offers differing opinions or differing suggestions, or maybe saw something differently right after the game, is probably not the time to air all that out. You kind of want to let the situation breathe, and then know that there'll be a time to get either celebrate a good win, flush it, get on to the next, or address a loss, flush it, get on to the next. Regardless, the flush part's still important.
Okay. Did the team practice today?
Yeah.
Okay. What was practice like, film like?
When you got a team, I think from our vantage point, November losses are different than February losses.
Right.
Stakes are different, but also you're far enough along that your reaction needs to be different. What the body is physically able to endure is different. And the most important thing with a February loss is do an awesome job of not getting beat twice. Don't let one loss beat you twice. And so, obviously, we've got a crazy amount of respect for the league we're in. And so we prepare and fight and scrap and claw to win every absolute game. And we have the expectation as we prepare that we're going to win every game. But I also think that we have enough respect for our league that we understand that going undefeated would be an extremely daunting task. And so when you suffer a setback this time of year, you need to look at it individually, just like you would a win. What did we do good? What did we do bad? Why did the bad pile up enough to be a loss? Address it, confront it, flush it, move on. Let's get ready for Oklahoma State.
You kind of touched on it, but how do you stay fresh at this point in the year?
I think that's where you better have a staff with a lot of diverse thought patterns and thought clouds. I think if you get too much of the same person, too much of the same mind, it does get stale, does get redundant. You need unique people and personalities to stay fresh and current this time of year, because you very much can turn into a rat on a wheel, where you just get into this rhythm of doing the same old. This is the time of year where maybe you mix up your delivery of your scouting reports. You find just different ways to engage your guys. If this was baseball, we would call it the dog days of the season, right? As the calendar turns to February, I do think that the DNA of a championship team is that you find ways to get better every month. We've been really, really good at that around here.
Yeah.
And I think this team's done that. We've gotten better every month. There was clear, tangible improvement with this group from November to December, December to January. And so now as we are here in February, we got to find what the where and the how of this team getting better from January to February. And yesterday's result aside, it doesn't change our mission.
Okay, Brad.
I understand, we hear about, being able to take one game and put it behind you and not let one game beat you twice. From your coaching perspective, how do you go about, I guess, delivering that to the players and getting that kind of buy-in that really allows them to do that?
Well, it starts long before the loss. It's all about relationships.
Right.
And your guys knowing that you as a staff, we're in the fight with them. I think one of the biggest things that can happen after a loss is a lot of finger pointing.
Yeah.
And the coaches yelling at the players all the time about what they didn't do. Whoa. When we win, there's a lot of we and us and inclusive words. And then when you hit adversity, there's a lot of individual words. That can't happen. After a loss or when you're in an adverse moment, your relationship with your guys and them having the feeling that we're all in this together allows you to fix problems or whatever they are, whether it's execution based, whether it's fatigue based, whether it's attitude based, effort based, whatever it is, discipline based, whatever. As long as the guys know that you're in the fight with them, and we're not settling into the blame game, you're gonna be able to nip small fires and don't let them become forest fires.
Galen Robinson.
What's up, G?
What's up, Coach Kel? Coach, I ain't gonna lie. I've been traveling a lot. I've probably gone through Netflix's entire catalog. So now I've transitioned to YouTube lion documentaries. And what I've learned is what you just said is when lions, whenever they go through adversity, which is, for example, they're not getting enough food, they're more expressive towards each other because of that adversity. They kind of get closer as opposed to going apart. So it's just basically what you said last, that kind of made that kind of dwell on my mind. But I got a couple of questions to ask. So first question is, do you think it's easier to respond? Do you think it's easier for the coaching staff included, do you think it's easier for you guys to respond to a bad win or to a loss?
I know I prefer to respond to a bad win. I'll answer that one pretty honestly. Sometimes when you lose, it's like burning a field. There's a chance to start over with some things. Whereas when you're winning, there's a little bit of that. Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And sometimes maybe some things may been looking the other way on. Mm-hmm. And you don't really want to mess with it because you're winning, but you're not quite operating at your best. I always Tiger Woods was infamous for changing his swing, and he was winning majors on top of majors. And they asked him why he was changing his swing. This is when he was in his prime, and he all of a sudden went through a little bit of a stretch there where he didn't win one for a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it was. And he said, "But I was preparing to win the next 10. I was willing to sacrifice a year so that I could win the next 10. Sometimes when you suffer a setback, it allows you to switch gears, shuffle the deck, so to speak. And when you need to make a change, that change is going to be accepted a little bit easier and better after a loss. Whereas if you're trying to change some things after a win, you can be met with a little bit of resistance at times, but trying truthfully, if you've got the right group and you've got mature competitors that are, drenched in championship DNA, they're about whatever helps us perform at our best. And so if winning ugly, if we're not playing at our best and we're winning ugly, then they're not going to be satisfied. I think we mastered that when we were in the American, is we had to find ways to keep improving every month, even though we were going on these 8, 9, 10 game winning streaks. And kind of how do you find that third, fourth, fifth gear to prime your engine for March when maybe your opponents aren't testing you quite as much. So I think we mastered how to improve while winning ugly. If we had found a way to win yesterday, it wouldn't have excused some of our mistakes. And we would have had to have nipped those in the bud. And I thought coming off of Central Florida, we had to nip some things in the bud, and we then put it together against Utah and Kansas, and at least for a half against West Virginia. And so we're good at we're good at winning ugly and fixing things, and I think that we're pretty good coming off losses too.
Okay, so that kind of leads me to my next question is, whenever we were first getting our tournament berths, we were kind of the have-nots. So I'm just curious as to when you're dealing with the veteran group, Lord knows whenever we lost and, you're talking about the adversity that y'all had to create in practice. The words I hated the most when you'd be like, gee, it's your day. That was some painful words for your boy. But when we were the have-nots then, since you guys are the haves now, is the message different when you're dealing with guys, who have, national championship, Final Four experience, Elite Eight experience? Is the message different for those guys?
No, I mean, every loss is its own story, just like every win is its own story, right? And so, when you take a step back again, I think you're analyzing. The first thing you're always analyzing is your attitude and your effort. Was our attitudes about the fight where it needed to be? Was our effort about the fight where it needed to be? So if it's the first thing you're going to evaluate as a coach, because those would be the first two things you got to fix. Everything's about your attitude and effort. I don't know if you've ever heard that, Jay.
Yeah, twice. Okay.
And so, if there's something to fix, it would start and end there. If those two things were in place, which I felt like they were in place yesterday, it may not have been at championship level, but it was in place. Then you got to look and see if it wasn't more discipline related things. We're playing hard, we're competing, we're just not playing with discipline. Fouling at the end of shot clocks, fouling 3-point shooters. Creating enough space for drives, those sort of discipline-related areas, and then you just go about fixing those, and that's a different type of fix. The attitude and effort fix is what you're going to remember. Those aren't fun. Those aren't pleasant, and the price to be paid after those sorts of setbacks are different.
Labor.
Discipline related. If you don't remember the game we played your junior year at Cincinnati where we got a big lead.
That was at
Northern Kentucky. Yeah. We got a big lead, and then the bottom fell out right before halftime, and then it was just a dogfight the second half, right? That was a discipline related game. I didn't think on that particular night we understood championship discipline. And so the next couple of days was not like your senior year when we lost at Temple. We lost at Temple your senior year. Both of them were really, really close games. Cougs easily could have won either one. That was an attitude and effort game. And so fixing your attitude and effort comes at a premium. Fixing discipline's more You're tugging on different buttons on that one.
So, Coach, so I would say like last year, granted, we had a first team All American point guard, but we had kind of early conference game losses that we were able to learn from. Whereas opposed to this year, we kind of had early non-conference games to learn from. So, according to that, would you say that this team in this time of the year is where they need to be at this moment?
Yeah. I mean, we're a point away from feeling pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
sometimes perspective is good. Now, I think that look, you measure where your team's at based off of the ability to improve every month.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you want to be ascending and improving month to month to month, and we know how to do that. We know what it looks like to head into March playing our best, and what each month takes. Practice in February is not what practice in December looks like. At least it better not.
Yeah.
If practice in February looks like December, then something's gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This time of year, it's a lot of game prep. It's a lot of absorbing information in a very short amount of time, and it's all about you're always going to have slippage in areas throughout the year. That's natural. And so being able to keep your blade as sharp as possible and go about the process of kind of fixing your slippages along the way. But the next thing is making sure your guys are as fresh of mind and fresh of body as they possibly can. And they understand what the game plan and what the strategies are for each fight.
I want to kind of get off of the Tech game, but I do want one more question.
You're here to that.
Yeah, I imagine. Kelvin said last night that he was disappointed that the team didn't fight harder. They didn't compete harder. When you hear that, what does that mean to you coming from him? What does it mean to compete harder than they did last night?
Well, I think his comment was more in relation to because it's all relative. We didn't compete harder than they did.
Right.
We competed hard. We played hard. We just didn't do it harder than they did, and that's always disappointing. And again, a lot of credit goes to them for they got their guys to a place and to a level. Certainly to start the game that we didn't. We're obviously strange start to the game, but there's always disappointment when at any point in time of a game that you feel like the other team is out competing you. Now, I do think that there was a period and then we then got to another level. There's a reason we were up 6. There's a reason we ended up seemingly kind of taking control of the game. But I think anytime you start talking about the effort, the competing part, it's always in relation to the other team. There's two things as a coach that just drive you absolutely bonkers, and is when your team plays with poor discipline and when your team doesn't play with more effort than the other team. Those are always two absolute non-negotiables from the coach's box, and those are always going to be sobering, humble moments as a coach.
What exactly happened with JVR in that injury that sent him to the locker room? And do you have an update on his status? Or
I don't have an update. He got hit in the head, and a game of that magnitude and with that intensity, if you take kind of a knock to the head and have kind of some symptoms, docs are going to do the right thing by the young man. If it was football, they'd have taken his helmet from him, which is what the equivalent was. I don't think anything definitive has been said about it, but I think that docs just kind of, everybody felt like, he needs to kind of let the situation breathe a little bit before we put him back out there.
And I see you working with Ramon pregame, especially on the road, making the poor kid run stairs. What's your update on where he is and health-wise? Like, what's an expectation for a fan?
I don't have an update on the expectation. I think one of the things with his injury, it's a similar injury that he had as a freshman. And so it's the same hand as a freshman too. Right. And so you're just dealing with a multitude of things there. And he's just not quite released for contact. And, hopefully, Mo's got a lot of basketball left in his body. And so, but he can't do it without a right hand, at least a functioning right hand.
Yeah.
And so, if he's not, if his, he's just not quite ready to get it banged up and mangled and hit and
make the plays that he normally makes.
There you go. Especially with somebody as physical and as hard playing as Mo, who's always diving around, and Mo does a good job of living in the mud as a ball player. So it's not like we can just tell him to be careful. It's not in play for Mo.
You better
so I'd rather be smart than silly. That being said, his legs work fine. So keeping him in shape, keeping him in conditioning, I think, Galen will probably agree with this too. Sometimes you got to be in shape as a competitor as much as you got to be in shape with your body. And finding new and unique ways to challenge his competitiveness while he's, working his way back is a big part of the fight too. Is making him hurt, making him strain, making him compete against the clock, against the drill, whatever it is. And when it's time for him to jump back in the fire, we'll kind of see where he's at and go from there.
Okay. Galen?
Coach Kellen wanted to ask you, as a coach, and you can reflect on whenever you were a player, and you can kind of talk about your experience as a coach. I feel like I know the answer, but I'm asking this more so for the viewers. Is do you think that outside noise can influence a team? Say for example, this game you got the Don Chaney, you got the blue jerseys and shit. It's a whole lot of stuff going on, and so I just wanted to get your take on do you think outside noise and outside factors can influence a team?
Yes. Long story short, I thought 2 years ago, 23 was maybe the first time I maybe that team was the first one to get ranked number one, and there was a lot of hype about that particular team leading into the season, and then they were tremendous. The Final Four was here in town, and it just that seemed to me like the first team that was a lightning rod of attention, especially here in town. On the road, it was that team was different, and that team didn't lose a road game. We went undefeated on the road, and I thought a big part of it was there were significantly less distractions on the road, and it was a little bit of a cocoon feeling, right? Is that you just felt really, you were protected inside a bubble. The 21 team had the benefit and I say this with all respect to those that lost people, but the benefit of COVID a little bit. And that we were able to operate kind of in the shadows and in the dark because, people couldn't, literally couldn't get to us. They couldn't come to the games, and there was just a lot of other things that were on people's minds and people's hearts that year besides what the Cougs were doing. And then by the end, we got to the Final Four. Everybody was in, and the world started to open up. It was a celebration. 22, we had all those injuries with Marcus and T-Mark, and so anything that we did was everybody was just thrilled for us. I thought 23 was the first year that we really dealt with the pressure of not just distractions but expectations.
Crazy, ain't it?
And
hold on, Coach Kell, ain't that crazy? Like,
yep.
That's crazy. That was my next question. Is like being ranked number one, knowing like where we came from.
Yep.
It's like, what is that shit like? Like, knowing that like it kind of validated all the things that you guys preach to us as coaches, all the stuff that y'all put us through is like, what is that like? I know y'all could care less about the damn ranking, but it's just like just to get that outside balance because we don't get that. Just to get that is just like, what is that like?
Well, there's the human side of it where it was extremely rewarding and validating. Right?
Absolutely.
Coach said something the other day. Well, Coach has said something for 39 years, and probably before that. But he said, "Look, a human being's greatest enemy is their ego." I think, and when you get ranked number one, your greatest opponent is your ego, where you actually start thinking you're number one. And you have to win that fight. You got to win that battle from within, and that requires a lot of humility. And you better have the right people in your circle and in your life that provide the appropriate amount of humility, or you're gonna get gobbled up by everything. We've gotten better as a program at handling all of the attention, the notoriety, the extra pomp, the circumstances. I think we've gotten more aware of the trap doors that come with that, and can be a little bit more proactive with our guys and things like that, and being proactive with their people and their circle and their families about the stuff that comes with this level of hype and exposure. Certainly, from the NIL side of things, you want your guys being in a position where they're taking advantage of opportunities that come their way. But I think the biggest thing that we've learned with that is empowering them that you don't have to take advantage of everything that comes your way.
Right.
Do a great job of doing things that make sense for you.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't make sense, place it like extremely, extremely high price tag on your own individual time. You still need time to rest, to recover, to be normal. Number 25 was putting in a whole lot of work. There still needed to be time for Galen Robinson. And I think kind of imploring our guys to understand that they are, this time of year, maybe more so than ever before, they are two different people, and they both require a lot of attention and time. You need time off your feet. You need time on the game. You need time connecting with your family about non-basketball stuff.
Yeah.
That way, when it's time to get to basketball stuff, you're free of mind, and you're able to approach it with the right mindset and an approach that's necessary. Until you go through the avalanche of attention, you don't know how to prepare your guys. And now more than ever, it comes from all angles. And so you don't know how to prepare your guys as people for the avalanche of attention that comes. You know, it's like the blue stuff or the blue game. You know, everybody was wanting blue merchandise, and everybody just assumed we had a warehouse full of blue merchandise. You know, or they wanted tickets, or they like. Everybody wants 5 minutes of your time.
Right.
And as a student athlete, shoot, you don't have time anyway. I didn't have time to begin with. And now I've got 10 people that want 5 minutes of my time. And just
And other
trying to
people
empower
throwing money
them.
at you, right?
And then they're throwing opportunities at you. And so I think a big part of handling all of that is empowering your guys to say no. Empowering your guys to value their own individual time at the appropriate price tag, and you know, just staying out of the way.
We had
Coach
Malik
Bill,
on
I'm sure
last week.
my bad. What you saying, Ryan?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm about to say is I'm sure it's no shock to y'all the success that obviously our program is having, just because y'all, when I was there, it's like y'all were literally grooming us to like kill, no mercy, overcome whatever. Like I mean, I'm just giving flowers, but it's just like, man, I remember like y'all had us ready to eat wood and spit it out at people. Like there was nothing that we didn't think we couldn't do because of y'all's constant, you know, feeding our, like, I wouldn't say feeding our egos, but feeding our will. Like testing our will and putting shit in front of us that we didn't think we can overcome. And then we, you know, overcome the obstacle and whatnot. And then, you know, the rest is history. But it's like, man, this is, I've turned into a fan. I just want to say that. I've turned into a fan.
Well, there's two things that we people who make it here, and we've had a lot of them, but there's only everybody here that's done really well, and they've thrived, and they've gotten out of this exactly what they wanted to. Had two binding characteristics: is they were mature and they were competitive. If you're not mature and competitive, this isn't going to work here. You know, those are the two non-negotiables: your talent level, your size, we'll make it work. You know, we've had Chris Harris was a really good player here, was 6'11", 245. Nurazana was a really good player here, and he was 6'4".
6'4" and a half.
You know, and they both played the five. So size isn't the requirement here. It's your competitiveness and it's your maturity, and we're going to test it and groom it and challenge it, and you know, put water on it, throw sunshine at it, and then stomp on it and see how much you really want to do this all the freaking time. Your greatest strides came in that you learned to channel your competitiveness, G, but your maturity came tenfold. And you started understanding the process better. As your maturity improved, you started to understand the process better, and you took off. I think the same for Jamal. I think that was, you know, there's other guys that were mature, but maybe their competitiveness improved along the way. And but those two things have got to be the foundation of here, and we'll fill in the rest.
Right.
I think one of the things that we do a great job here is we backfill and we don't top fill. You know, we're going to backfill, and that's when Coach talks about watering the roots. Is we're going to grow, we're going to water and grow and nourish from the bottom, and then push everything up to the surface. Our intentions are never to pile on top of you and stifle you. Everything we're doing is from the bottom up, and that sometimes is a slow, gradual, sometimes painful process. But it works.
It works.
And, you know, I think that's I was saying the other day, or somebody asked me the other day, is how is your dad better today than he was 20 years ago? He's the most talented human being I've ever met in my life. He's just a naturally gifted person. But B, people think what we do is so old school. It's now new school. And I think what we're doing is different than a lot of other people are doing. And now it's kind of, somehow along the way, what we do is now becoming sexy somehow.
Crazy, ain't it?
We're not doing anything new.
Yeah.
We're doing the same nonsense today that we did in the summer of 2015.
I think so many people have tried so many different things.
Some of that shit y'all don't do no more. Shit. But, man.
Everybody's trying to find a shorter way.
Say that again.
Everybody has been trying to find a shorter way to success, and there's really no shorter way. I think that the thing, watching U of H basketball in the last 8 years has ruined me watching other basketball because nobody plays like this. Very few teams play with the aggressiveness and the intensity, and not just in spurts. It's not just 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here. It's 40 minutes or however long it needs to be. And U of H's calling card for me is just outright mayhem and intensity. And watching other games, it's just not there.
And that's groomed, that's work, but you also got to target the right kids along the way and make sure that I think one of the things we do a really good job of is we don't lie to kids about what this is. Now, not everybody believes us, and they're like, "Man, I thought you guys." No, look, man, how we coach a kid begins with how we recruit them. And that and then at this point, our reputation kind of precedes us a little bit, and I think folks know what they're going to get. But Coach says something all the time, but and I think it's really true today. But you want to coach kids you don't mind losing with. Yesterday sucked. So it was a hard day to watch the way it fell through our fingers a little bit. But when you got a bunch of the right guys in the battle with you, you knew today was going to be a good day. We lost yesterday, but today was a good day for Houston Cougar basketball. And that's going to prepare us to make sure we don't lose in other days. And when you are nurturing that competitiveness, but you're also nurturing that maturity at the same time, you're able to get through bumps in the road and get your car back in the right direction. We got an important month here. We've got to keep improving throughout the month of February. And what's tricky this year is there's no bye weeks. Normally we get a bye week to kind of retool and recalibrate and kind of load up for the stretch run. We don't get that luxury this year. And so we're learning as we go. But I do know this. If you'd have told me 5 weeks ago when we were headed to Stillwater for the first conference game that through your first 10 games you're going to be 9-1, boys, I'd have taken it and not played a game.
Yeah.
Facts.
Fact is that.
And I think as much as we're talking to our guys today, I think it's also important to note that while yesterday was not a good day, and it was an awesome chance to get to 10-0, we're still 9-1. And we got to do a hell of a job of not making sure that we let Texas Tech beat us twice. Oklahoma State's playing better. They hit a home run. They got the right coach. Really similar to our first year, G, in that he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job of making sure his kids aren't quitting on him. Coach Lutz is doing a hell of a job. Really similar to that bunch that was right before you got here, where we won 4 games to end the year. We won our last 3 regular season games. We won a conference tournament game, and then we took Tulsa down to the wire in the conference tournament. And Coach Lutz is getting that kind of buy-in from his guys, even though they're having a little bit of a tough year. And so we got to load up the wagon and be ready to get to it on Tuesday, catch our breath a little bit, road game this weekend, and then, starting next week, let's see where we're at.
Does it feel like a benefit to have such a quick turnaround? I mean, it's not an immediate turnaround, but just getting back out there on Tuesday instead of Wednesday.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I do think getting that midweek off day, if we're fortunate enough to play well enough to get to win Tuesday, getting that midweek bye week or that midweek off day, I think will pay a lot of dividends for us over the weekend and heading into Monday, for sure. But we got a lot. Obviously, yesterday was, the Kansas game just took a toll on us, and not just the game itself, 50 minutes, but kind of what Galen was alluding to. It was kind of a reinduction to the country that day. And it seemed like there was an uptick in attention last week. And then you had another road trip. It's our farthest road trip of the year on a Wednesday night at West Virginia. And so that, coming home, we got back super late Wednesday night. Thursday's a little bit of a walk. So it's testing the warrior spirit of our kids a little bit here. And I think that's such a unique part of playing in the Big 12 is when did the team that you're playing, when did they play earlier in the week? And Galen will attest to this. If you're playing a road game on Wednesday, but the team that you're playing had a home game on Tuesday, that's a huge advantage. They've gotten a chance to sleep in their bed all week, and maybe they got the midweek off day, and they've been on a little bit of a normal schedule and been able to take care of their bodies, and then also be able to really lock in on the fight with you, as opposed to playing a midweek road game on a Wednesday night, getting back late Wednesday. Thursday's kind of a wash, because the fatigue level's real, and so those things aren't unique to us, right? Everybody's going to have to go through that, but it's real, and those all that certainly plays a factor in every conference race. It's not just who you play and where you play them; it's when did you play them, and when did the rest factor with before each game.
Malik was with us last week on this show. What is it like for a coach to see him grow from when he got here to the way he's playing now?
Reward. I mean, it's why you get the coaching, truthfully. To see a kid who, when we got him, he had just left. We recruited him at high school, and then a little bit, and then he went to UL, and then he went to Texas Tech. And when we got him out of Texas Tech, his confidence was rattled, and it was impacted, and you just kind of had to. We had spent a lot of time building him back. Anthony Goldwire and Quantus White deserve all the credit in the world for all of the extra time and all of the extra effort that they put into Malik and making him believe again, and making sure that he was of the right mindset once again. And then when he got here, he had a lot of hard days, on that white team. I run the white team every day, and there was a lot of days, Jamal Shedd kicked his ass pretty good, or Sasser kicked his butt, or Cryer, and he still had the resolve to just stay in there, keep coming, not not give in, even though his number wasn't getting called. He had the bad, he broke his hand last year during October. I thought he had a great foreign trip, summer of 23. Second day of training camp, he breaks his hand and misses 5 weeks. And then so to start last year, a little bit like Javier this year, when you miss that much time in training camp and then you slip and then try to go right into games, you're not going to have the success maybe that you deserve. It's going to take you a while to find your rhythm. And, when you don't play well those first couple of games, people start writing you off pretty quick. And you got to have the toughness, and you got to have the fortitude just to keep going. And I thought early last year that was part of the league's problem. I thought when Terrence got hurt, and then a couple other guys he was ready for an uptick in his opportunity when it mattered. And had a great offseason. And Malik's one of those guys that maxes out with maturity and competitiveness, though. Again, I just go back to those two things. When you're mature and you're competitive, things have a way of working out for you.
Okay. Y'all have anything else for Kellen?
Gee, how you playing, man?
Barely. But hey, as I saw this thing, it was like, hey, don't complain, contribute. Try to find a way to contribute to your team winning. But it's just like, I'm glad you asked that, Coach Kell, because it's like it brings me to my next I guess idea. It's I miss accountability.
Say that again.
I said I miss accountability. When it was my ass on the chopping block, I hated it. But it's just like now I know the value in accountability, and I know what it can do for your team. So it's just like, Coach Kell, I really do miss accountability, man. Man. Coach Kell, listen, I ain't even gonna lie. I was gonna send you a game, like one of our game films, like last week, and I was like, Coach Kell, tell us what our problem is. But I was like, you know what, Coach Kell got a lot more shit on his plate. Let me go ahead and chill. But it's just like I almost got to that point, just because I can't, I just the losing shit, Coach Kell, it hurts my heart, it really does bother me.
So let me get this straight. Did anybody win in this conversation tonight? Because I didn't win yesterday.
Yeah. It was a bad day for G. It was a bad day for G. G lost twice.
Yeah, it was a bad weekend.
But Coach Kell,
Popeyes.
This losing shit, man, it really, I might not play the amount of minutes that I desire, but it's like I'm up, can't sleep at night because, motherfucker, we losing. When you come from a winning program, you take for granted how hard it is to win the game. That's one thing I've learned in my professional career. It is hard to win the game because not everybody has your will to win. Not everybody is willing to sacrifice their body, dive on the floor for a loose ball. Not everybody's willing to do any of those little small things that equate to winning. So it's just that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Winners know why they win.
Facts.
And losers don't know why they lost. And that's why they're going to lose again. And that rings. It rings true a lot of times. You damn your loss. I thought we tackled the right stuff today, and we had. There was a lot of accountability today.
Trust me, brother. I'm already knowing.
Accountability today. But I think that it's also important to, this time last week, we were admired for our guts, our resiliency, our toughness, all that stuff. And everybody was quick to maybe throw some dirt on Kansas because they lost an absolute slugfest barn burner that maybe they should have won. Well, the script got flipped yesterday. You're never quite as good as you think you are. You're never quite as bad as you think you are. I think what's really important is that you just keep finding ways to improve every month. And you want to make sure that you're playing your best ball when it matters most. And I would hate to have won yesterday if it meant that it stunted growth for March. We're all about making sure that we have the absolute best unit, best machine imaginable for March. And had we won yesterday, that would still be the goal. Coming off a loss yesterday, still the goal is making sure that March always matters most, and we got to make sure that we do a heck of a job of making sure that we're the best we possibly can be heading into March.
All right. We appreciate that, Kellen. I think you did a good job. And
Did I?
it's good that your season did not end yesterday, as many had thought. So
Season's back on.
We're at the halfway point. We might as well play it out. I know at this point all we can compete for is the intramural championship, but maybe we'll get a participation certificate and a pizza party at Pizza Hut.
sounds so
Good
bad.
talking to you guys.
All
Thanks,
right.
Coach.
Thank you.
All right,
fellas.
Coach Joe.
Appreciate
Bye,
that.
man.
All right.
Man.
So the thing that I learned, that's not what we wanted. I don't know what the hell this is all about. There we go.
There we go.
Is that Galen watches documentaries about lions.
Hey man,
Welcome to the club, dude.
Hey brother, you got to keep your mind sharp, man. I'm always trying to learn. I've always loved like Animal Planet, So it's like, why not hear about some fucking lions in the African Serengeti?
See, my guy got inspired hearing about my my zoo story in China.
Sounds I can assure you, it had absolutely nothing to do.
See, it automatically hit your algorithm, man. They're always listening.
What did y'all learn? What did you think about what you heard? You got 50 minutes. Kellen was here 10 minutes before we started, so shout out to him for putting the time in.
I mean, a lot of the shit that I pretty much knew, but it's just always refreshing to hear because, contrary to popular belief, that's been the same shit that they're saying today is the shit that they were saying when they first got the job. Like they were saying the same things to us, the same, they always, like Coach Kellen, Coach Sam, like they always knew this was going to be a winning program. It was only a matter of time.
Right.
So it's just like I'm hearing a message that I've heard a million times reiterated, and for those who are listening, it might be y'all's first time hearing it, but it's just like it's very much a process to go from. I remember like it was when I was in high school, there was a period of time I was staying with one of my friends, and whenever we get bored, we'd see if U of H is playing, and we go to a game. I remember they got their ass whooped by like Alabama A&M. Or like Alcorn State, something
Corn
like
State
that.
Is who it was.
And and it was just like my homie Big Steve. He was like, "Man, you sure you want to come here?" I'm like, "Shit, yeah." Like it was that, and the gym was empty. It was nobody in there, and to go from losing a game like that to being, you fuck around might see me in one of these seats on the other side. But it's like to go from that arena, that environment, and losing the game and nobody complaining to losing it, being ranked number one, going to a Final Four, losing to Texas. It's just like that's a crazy transformation. Like that's insane to me. So it's just like I just salute to them for never deviating from what the agenda was. The agenda was always the same. So and the only thing that changed was the team.
Star Pizza.
Absolutely.
I didn't mention them for an hour, but they were on the screen the whole time. Get you some Star Pizza. Lunch specials tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. Boy! Yeah, there he goes. He's excited. Fat fuck.
Man.
Star Pizza, you got the world famous buffet Tuesday and Friday, $13.95 with a drink. Go get you some. I'm gonna be there this week. Maybe I'll bring Towns. Galen, we'll get you there soon enough.
Everything is delicious.
Yeah.
Everything is delicious.
Lord knows.
And I was
Lord
just
knows.
informed something, and I want y'all to see if you can break this down. They're still on top, right? Yeah. It looks like they're on top.
I was told there would be no math.
There is no math. I apologize. That was on me. Just doing what I do and deal with fan reactions, emotions, it's been a rough 24 hours. Blaming the uniforms, blaming the outside noise, blaming
It was
this
the
and that,
the
call.
uniforms. Don't even fuck around. It was the uniforms.
All right, he's muted. He's gone. Oh, I think I disconnected him. Oh, shit.
Damn.
No.
Hung up on my boy.
Come back, Brad, whenever you want. People have taken this really hard, and it's just a loss. It was February 1st. You have 10 more of these to go before you go to the conference tournament and the dance. Everybody's gonna lose.
You know what's the funny thing about this is, if you were to like Coach Kell said, through the first 10 games, it'd be 9-1.
Nobody in this fan base would say no to that.
I would have, but it's like I would have never thought we'd lose this one.
Okay.
I would have, you know what I'm saying? I would have, but it's just like, yeah, just 9-1 in the Big 12 with the group that we have, the leadership that we have, going into the schedule that we're about to face. You're not in a bad spot. You're not in a bad spot. So, yeah, like.
Hey, Brad, welcome back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Somehow it
I just
disconnected
tried-
my camera.
I tried to
Knock my camera
mute your
offline.
microphone. Yeah. I didn't know I had that
Like,
power.
damn, you came up with some crazy shit.
Yeah. I was very interested in his honest talk about your loss and, the accountability and what needed to happen with this team. Just like Brad talked about it last night on the show, is that this team needed a reset. And the only way that it was going to happen, truthfully, was a loss. So that you could refocus these guys and get them back on track. And I would have loved to have been there to watch today. They'd have never allowed it, but it would have been fun.
Well, and I'm just thinking of my past when I'm able to get away with, being close to good but still winning, but not being as good as I should. Bad habits creep in, and you start thinking it's like, well, I hear what he's saying, but we're
just human nature.
And then you get the reality check, and you didn't play any different. You didn't really play a lot different than you played against UCF or West Virginia or Kansas, but it didn't work this time. Yeah. So you don't have to go back to the drawing board. Now all of a sudden, when you sit down, you're like, well, I did the same thing that I did previously, but this time I lost. Okay, now I'm just gonna. What was it? What is it? What is it that I need to do again? And then you're no longer listening to suggestions. You're asking for help, and you're really dialing in. Okay, what is it that I need to truly refine? I was doing that wrong, obviously.
Okay. Ready for Tuesday.
Talking about Ryan, how many viewers do we have?
631.
631. I need 631. I need 600 people to head to onesubstantial.com and subscribe to our family of over 1,800 Cougs. So yeah, tap in with your boy. New gear coming soon. If it ain't 600 new members subscribe, I'm shutting the shit down.
Well, I'm guessing that a lot of these people have subscribed.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
guessing.
right. Well, shit, at least
substantial.
50 of y'all. I mean, shit, they're gonna set the bar low. Like, head on over, join the gang, please. But you
Okay.
know, it's funny. Like listening to Coach Kell is he has all these sayings, and it's just like, brother, you sound just like your damn daddy. Like it's just all these sayings and allusions and metaphors. It's just like, wow, the apple does not fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
Shit is cool, man. Shit is cool. Watching his maturity as a coach, wow.
I'm not trying to end what's happening right now, but I am very interested to see when he takes over what that's going to look like, how similar it's going to be, but just the wrinkles that he's able to put on the program. I'm fascinated by something like that.
Just-
So
I
it's
would
gonna be-
say-
I'm not kicking the guy out right now,
Yeah, no,
even
no.
though he
I
did
would
lose
say that
yesterday.
something that he ace in his back pocket is, he's younger. He's you could probably say he's a little more relatable with the times. Coach Sampson, he's old school through and through, inside and out. He's like old school ways have to be changed. Coach Kell, he's kind of like he's significantly more. Not saying Coach Samp ain't hip, Big Samp ain't, but it's like Coach Kellen. He knows the lingo, knows the slang. I remember Coach Samp. He didn't even know what Snapchat was. It's like, damn, brother, you living under a rock, So it's just like, and I feel like Coach Kellen, because of where he comes from, and like even how he was raised, raised with that chip on his shoulder. He's gonna feel like he has a lot to prove because of the shoes that he's stepping into. So it's like it's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna achieve great things as a head coach because I know where he comes from. But it's a matter of time, man. It's a matter of time.
Okay, now we're going to do comments. Ready for Tuesday? Let's get out and watch the Cougs take on Oklahoma State.
Let's get a cathartic game.
Where is the guy? Okay, we don't need that.
Ah, damn.
I am don't want to blame refs, but man, they were really involved last night. Impact was incredible. Yeah, but that's just what you're going to get. Fantastic conversation. Thank you. Every time I hear Kellen speak, I feel great about him becoming the coach in waiting. The program is in good hands. Attitude and effort. You can either let yesterday crumble you, or you can learn from your mistakes and use it.
Time
as
out, wait.
guidance.
Hey, y'all seen Kansas then lost? Like that's an example of how one game can turn into multiple if you don't get
And
over
they're
it.
at 3 now.
Did you see what happened to Iowa State?
Man, like that shit is real. Like you got to be able to flush whatever game that you're trying to get over and get on to the next one because it can cost you multiple games for sure.
Iowa
Kansas
State
gave
just
up
got smoked.
Well, they got beat twice in a row. They let Arizona beat them twice. Kansas gave up 60 points in the second half yesterday. That's unbelievable that they could do that, especially as bad as Baylor looked in the first half. But once that second half came on, Kansas reverted to what they did against U of H and UCF, and now Baylor. I'll take 9-1 on the second half of conference play.
Shout out Big Jack, man. Hey, Big Jack, DM me on my social media, my on everything. It's G_Robinson1. Please holler at me, man. I got some stuff for you, Big Jack. Yeah,
There you go.
that.
Thanks for not changing it, because I'd have to change it there.
You
a
know,
lot of
Towns.
distractions.
I got some shit for you too, Towns.
Do what?
I got some shit for you too. The blanket.
Ooh.
Yeah,
We went all the way up
FEMA
inside.
had
So
that FEMA had a warehouse sale.
Heck yeah.
Get you a tarp. A lot of
Oh no, that means I got to wear blue again.
I hope it's baby blue. God, I hope it's Columbia. used
Baby blue FEMA tarp.
I hope so. Oh shit, I'm wearing it too. I didn't even realize. A lot of distractions when you move up in the rankings. Also, the team looked tired in the first half.
I wouldn't even say
just
it's the rankings because we're used to being ranked. That's not anything new. It's just more so of outside noise.
The noise.
Just kind of infiltrating your program, getting a big win like you got at Kansas, winning how you did at West Virginia, and you get this sense of invincibility, and it's just that's just human nature, and it happens to players, it happens to coaches whether they want to admit it or not, and it certainly happens to professional athletes, but also collegiate athletes. These are kids.
But it happens to
So,
it happens to humans.
Yeah. So it's like you're gonna.
I mean, every one of us fights that
Absolutely.
complacency or that ego. Being a career sales guy, I see it. I saw it every single day. Of guys have a good month and they take off a little bit.
Yeah.
They stop. It's you stop doing what you were doing to be successful.
Yeah.
And it's everybody's got to fight that demon of that thought in your head that says that I've made it. And so you lose a little bit of focus, or you think it's all going to go your way, and you're missing small little details of what made you great. And it's just a constant fight to replicate that every day. And that's what separates the good and the great in every business or every sport.
The crazy part about it, it just gets harder and harder to replicate. It just gets harder and harder. It's a more and more difficult of a climb. So, it's
I'll tell guys I played college ball with, great players in college, great players in pro ball, all the way through the minor leagues to the major leagues. The difference between they all could do the exact same thing. They could all hit, or they could all pitch. They could all throw hard. The guys who excelled and thrived and kept moving up to the pinnacle, it's the guys who could do it every day and not, every other day.
Consistency.
Website is locked.
Exactly. Subscribe. That's the point. Shout out you. Subscribe. That is the point. It's supposed to be locked.
One thing Kellen briefly mentioned but didn't really get into is NIL in this noise conversation. When we started doing NIL with the guys, they thought $100 was like the biggest damn thing in the whole world. You're going to pay me $100 to do this? Fuck yeah, I'm going to do that. Now that conversation has moved and those numbers have gotten a lot bigger. And like Kellen said, guys were just saying yes to everything. Like I was a poor college kid, and now somebody wants to give me money for something that I'm going to do anyways. Yeah, to talk or to sponsor a product or whatever.
Retweet or something, or send out a tweet about something.
Yeah. Oh, I get paid.
Make an Instagram post.
But then, and this happened all over the country, is these guys go 6 days a week hard with practice, working out, with everything. They get 1 day off that they're not allowed to do anything program related or coach down. They can practice, but on their own. But now those guys are spending that entire day doing NIL stuff. So you're never off your feet. You're never relaxing the mind. You're always going. You don't have that 1 day to, I don't know what a college athlete does on that day off, but they certainly don't go and
I promise you,
work all day on their feet filming.
You appreciate doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's just, I ain't got to see Coach Sampson today, brother. This is a great day. It's that simple.
But it's now another work day, and so you're on
Is
this
it the
Big
relief
12 grind.
Is it the physical relief, or is it like a mental cleansing where you can just not hear anything?
It's more mental, because when you're that young, your body can withstand a great deal of punishment and whatever the case may be. You can withstand you eating Whataburger and having to run a 5-minute mile. Like, the bodies are capable of great things when you're 19, 20, 21, 22. So it's just more so the mentally being on edge, and the demand that Coach Sampson, that the mental sharpness that he demands in practice and games and all that and so on and so forth. That's the part where you're just enjoying your brain, like not having a consequence for not doing something. Like, I can just chill. Like it's a very good feeling.
Yeah. Kellen is awesome. He's going to be an outstanding head coach. U of H is very fortunate. Fans shouldn't take this program for granted.
Familiarity breeds
Question
contempt.
for Galen. Does Kellen put the fear of God in you like Kelvin does? I can answer this for you.
I wouldn't say that it's like Coach Big Samp, but I remember Coach Sampson was out one day for practice, and Coach Kellen had to run the practice. That was probably by far the hardest practice that I had in my career. Like, I was like, damn, Coach Kell, I didn't think you was. I remember I said this after the practice. I was like, damn, Coach Kell, I didn't think he was worse than Coach Sampson. Like, I was like, damn. So it was just like he has that chip, man. He knows what's at stake. And granted, they're two different guys, so they're going to get the same reaction to two different ways. So Coach Sampson, he might put the fear of God on you, and shit, Coach Kellen might put the fear of the Lord in you. Like they'll get there. They'll get their desired fear. They'll get. Don't worry about that. Like they'll get whatever reaction that they want for sure.
And I think as a second voice, he has a different role to play to where you're not hearing the exact same thing. You know, it's like you've got the loud heavy metal over here, and then you've got some more smooth jazz on this side. You got to hear you just got to change the volume and change the delivery.
Yeah.
It's almost like a good cop bad cop scenario.
But it's funny because very rarely are they playing different music. Coach Sampson, son, that's softer than whatever, and Coach Kelly be like, soft. Like it's they playing the same genre. It might be a different song, but
one's playing a remix.
Yeah. Man,
same song, just a remix.
Man, yeah, it's just a remix for sure. But it's that same cloth, man. Same cloth. Like
Same cloth. A lot of X's. I got to
That's
fight
right.
that demon of being an overconfident fan constantly, man. Yeah. I mean, this conference
I'm
is
a
going to
delusional believer, and I'm just gonna say this: our team, we struggle with defense, and I feel like that's probably the thing that I do. But yeah. Glad you thank you for clarifying. And it's like when I watch us play defense, it's like I feel like I've said this before, but I'm saying it again. We just move in such unison. And it's like everything is like everybody's supporting you if you need it, if you don't. It's like it's beautiful. It's like organs, like in a sense. Like it's whatever you need, we're compensating for what's lacking, and whatever the case may be. Like it is truly a pleasure to watch. And it's like I took for granted. Because that was a system I took for granted how hard that is to achieve. And now that it is not my norm, I have a different level of appreciation for it.
Once you're seeing the reason why you beat all these other guys.
Yeah,
or a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, when it becomes as a college player, it feels like a job. And it's treated as a job, especially compared to high school. But when it turns pro, a lot of it's just about the paycheck for a lot of guys.
Literally.
It's like, hey, I really don't give a shit if we win or lose. I just got to get mine so I can keep getting paid.
Literally. It's I don't want to say anything to jeopardize myself, but you're correct. You know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, you listen to like Gilbert Arenas on his podcast. That's exactly what it comes across. I mean, guys are out to get paid. It's a business.
I remember Coach Sampson. He told me a story about this guy named Samuel Dallenberg. He was a center.
Yep.
And Coach Samuel was like, "You need to stop the ball when it comes out of the pick and roll." And he was like, "Well, Sam will never stop the ball." And he was like, "Sam, why don't you ever fucking stop the ball?" And Sam was like, "Well, Coach, in my contract, if I get this rebound, I get $5 million extra, and I got a family to feed. So fuck stopping this ball. I'm trying to get this ball when it come off the rim." I was just saying. Can't be mad at the brother. Shit.
Yep.
Man, fuck this team. I got a wife and I got some cheering they got to eat, my boy.
It's like we're 30 and 46, man. We ain't doing shit here. I'm just getting paid.
I'm trying to feed my cheering. Man,
I'm just trying to make sure I'm back next year. I'm gonna go back and ride and fucking
that was
buses.
the realest shit I ever heard. Like, man, yeah, that's I can see that, brother. I understand you.
What are you doing, Ryan?
I'm looking.
Yeah,
at,
man.
It's like you're struggling up there.
Yeah.
I'm always struggling. It's hard to run the whole damn show. It's easy to just sit there and talk.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Galen, gonna bring some heat. Gonna deliver some heat.
I don't even want to, man. I'm not even gonna be able to sell what I'm naked next, but I might.
What do you mean you won't be able to sell?
Licensing.
We can talk to some people, you know.
Well, shit, brother. Well, those will resume once this ends.
Okay. Towns,
What?
try to help him out. Say, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do it louder.
What are you talking about?
Hey yo. Hey yo.
Oh yeah. He just comes in from the screen back there, like the Kool-Aid man. It just made me laugh last night. Oh yeah. Anyways. Anywho. Let me see if I can find. I had a couple more.
I'm glad Coach took the time to come on.
Right.
It's cathartic, and it's allowed me an hour and a half to not mourn the loss of Luka Doncic.
I think that happened, and all of us thought it was a joke.
I didn't see I saw the tweet at midnight last night.
Man,
I didn't go to bed till 4:30 because I was on Twitter trying to find out that it was a
real.
lie. Yeah.
That's another conversation for another day. Man. That
So if anybody asks you if it's a business, there you go.
yeah,
Nobody's untouchable.
yeah. Fuck loyalty in business, man. That is insane.
Are we done with the NBA? Okay.
Great timing.
Yeah. Well, I took myself off so I didn't have to be a part of that. After the many coaches who have used U of H as a stepping stone, I am forever grateful for the Sampsons sticking around as long as they have. They should be the highest paid coaches. They're being taken care of. I don't know if it's exactly highest, but there's a level of commitment from U of H that I think is.
I mean, now that you're in the Power Five, of course.
Well, he was paid pretty well beforehand.
Yeah, I'm
But
aware.
you know, the resources allocated are pretty high. Maybe not as high as Kansas and North Carolina Duke, but you know, you've got to make choices at this level, and U of H has done a good job by this program. So, okay, all these people talking about the NBA. Photoshop Towns with the blue Kool-Aid shirt.
Ooh, that'll be crazy.
We might just have
That'll
to
be
buy him one.
crazy.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I would drink blue Kool-Aid. I just won't wear I won't wear a blue shirt.
Okay.
GoCoogs.
There you go.
Lean red. Literally.
All right. That's going to be it. 680 watching right now. We really appreciate it. Thank
Shout
you
out
so
to
much.
I just want y'all to know, all of y'all that are watching, I fuck with y'all. I
He
fuck
does.
with y'all the long way. Hit the
I've
site.
seen.
Hit me on social media at G_Robinson1. Hit me on Facebook at Galen Robinson Jr. That's me. Fuck with your boy, man. With your boy. I fuck with all of y'all.
I don't fuck with any of you. But I appreciate you watching this. We had
Whatever he said,
2,500
I agree.
Yeah, whatever that was.
I just follow
2,500
Galen. He tells me where to go, I'll go.
Yeah. You need to download that Snapchat, young man. Try it out. All the kids.
I've never used it.
Yeah, I know.
Don't start, brother.
2,500 people watched yesterday. A couple thousand last Sunday. We're doing great. Things are growing. Big
Hey, and
things
you
for
know,
Go
the thing,
Cougs, one
we
substantial.
can't tell
Shut the
you
fuck up
how
and let
much
me
we
talk.
appreciate it. I mean, everybody hears what you're saying, but Steve, you got to thank everybody for coming here, not jerk yourself off.
I'm not jerking myself. I said thank you. We appreciate it. It's awesome. And, we're going to keep growing and doing this the way it should be done. And we are so thankful to have access to guys like Kellen and Quantas and Malik last week. Everybody else at U of H that's doing things, we're trying to talk to them on this show. And we appreciate everyone joining us. Star Pizza, go get your Star Pizza. We appreciate them, maybe most of all. But thank you all so much, Galen.
Hold on, Ryan.
Substantial.
You know who we get? You know who we need to get? We need to get Big Juan. I want to highlight my boy Big Juan
Okay.
on the show.
We're not doing a show next week because the Super Bowl will be at the same time. We're not trying to compete with that.
Wait, hold on. I thought we were doing one Tuesday, huh?
Right. I'm talking about this show, the Sunday night show.
Oh,
we're not
okay.
doing that Sunday of next week.
We do a lot of shows here on the
do
GoCoogs Network.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Tuesday, we'll do Cats. We'll do Cats from Colorado on Saturday. No show Sunday. 2 weeks from now, I think we have a UH signee on the program. And we will get Jawan. We've never had him. I guess we did it the after A&M in the tournament last year, but never had him on this. So we'll get him for that. That won't be a problem. So thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate it. This has been awesome. I thought this would be a 20 or 30-minute show. Turned out a little bit longer. Galen, one substantial. Go check out your Birmingham Squadron.
Yeah.
Or not. Yeah.
GoCoogs.
Brad Towns, thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Not jerking myself off. Thank you.